And we're back talking about heat pumps. Can they be a viable option for Canadians as a means to reduce their household emissions? We're chatting with Matt Lanigan. Matt, before the break, you gave us a quick briefing on what heat pumps are, how they operate, potential costs, and so forth. I wonder if you could talk to us a bit about the limitation side. So, it sounds like great technology. When I go online, I see people weighing into the comment section saying, well, yeah, it's great, but it doesn't work when it gets super cold or it gets super hot, whatever the case is. Could you tell us sort of where the technology is at right now and what the limitations are?
Sure. So in terms of cooling a home when it's super hot outside, heat pumps perform better. Obviously, just pulling hot air and moving it outside is a lot easier. Now, the challenge, and I'm sure you've heard this, Colin, is heating your home when it's extraordinarily cold outside. Now, some of the latest models of cold climate heat pumps can operate efficiently up to minus 25, minus 30 degrees Celsius. However, you do start to lose that efficiency. The compressor is working harder. Everything is working harder to try and get that hot air into your home. So in a lot of cases, some Canadians, whether it's here in BC or in the prairies, have decided to install a heat pump, but it's backed up by a gas furnace or it's backed up by another secondary heating. And that allows heat pumps to operate at their efficient capacity up until a certain threshold. And then it moves into that secondary heating when it gets too cold. The heat pump's working too hard.
So if you're in a community like, say, Winnipeg or Calgary or Regina, where it can get quite cold in the winter, is it fair to say that you would need both a furnace plus, if you had a heat pump, you would also need a furnace too to make sure that you're not, extremely cold when it gets down to, say, minus 25, minus 30, whatever the case is?
I think today, given where heat pump technology is, it's safe to say that you would want that secondary heating backup. I mean, even in BC, where it's temperate, where I am, people are still installing these secondary heating systems.
Okay. And I'm guessing that who knows where the technology is going to go, that there might be a day where they actually do work quite efficiently once it gets down to, say, minus 30, minus 40. Is that kind of where you see the technology going, or do you think it's going to reach a physical limitation that it just won't be able to do that?
I envision advancing pretty quickly over the next several years. I mean, you see this in other industries, electric cars with battery distance and so on, and heat pumps with warming homes when it's cooler outside is no different. There's a program run by the Department of Energy in the States, Cold Climate Heat Pump Initiative, where some of the typical players you see in home heating and cooling are developing these incredible models rapidly. So we do expect it to advance. However, this is where we are today, and it's important for homeowners to know that there are limitations currently.
Well, that's encouraging because competition is good when it comes to providing different products and services. So that's good to hear. In the meantime, what about a case? I mean, one of the benefits of a heat pump is the emission side. I mean, certainly that seems to be the case in a province like BC, where the heat pump is powered from hydroelectricity. In a province like Alberta, where we have a lot of fossil fuels that's creating the electricity that is provided to the grid, is there still an environmental benefit to using a heat pump to warm your house compared with, say, natural gas power?
Yeah, so despite the grid overall being fueled through non-green resources, let's say, heat pumps do use less energy compared to furnaces. So, for example, I had mentioned the coefficient of performance that heat pump can yield 3 to 5 times more efficiency than, say, a standard furnace. So over the course of the year, you'll see it use less electricity compared to a standard furnace, despite getting the same amount of heating capacity, if you will.
And for someone who's watching this and they're thinking about, well, maybe I should make the switch over, or maybe I shouldn't, whatever, are there other considerations that you think are important for people to keep in mind?
I think for homeowners today, it's incredibly important to understand your home as a system. So the interplay of different things, right? Before getting a heat pump, it might be important to assess the insulation. Hot air rises, and if your attic's not insulated, you're going to lose a lot of that hot air. Heat pumps are sized very differently today than furnaces. It requires detailed calculations, and it's important to understand why you're losing heat where, and to maybe enhance those before moving forward to a heat pump. So taking a holistic look at your home as a whole before investing a fair amount of money into a heat pump system.
Okay. Well, listen, thank you for taking a few minutes to chat today, Matt. You've given us a good 101 on heat pumps and some of the pros and cons and things to think about if we want to move in that direction. So thank you for your time.
Thanks, Colin. Take care.
Take care.